Mount Vernon, and through that, we were able to hire Ravina and Sharon and Terrence, and they worked very closely with Hopwa, which we started in December of '95 in the city of Mount Vernon, and we were able to do incredible and transformational work, and we were able to serve people who continue to inspire us to this day. We learned how to live life as we served some people who were really truly actively dying, and that was important because I was younger. That's 20 some odd years ago. I was younger then. And to have the privilege and the honor to serve people who learned how to live despite of their sickness, despite of the discrimination and the way they were treated, it caused me to learn how to push through and not sweat the small stuff and find creative and innovative ways to make a difference when there was no money, when you didn't have a lot of partners, when AIDS was a stigma. And I say was, but it still is. It still is. We're living in a time today where, as you just said, the infection rates have not changed. They haven't decreased. Yes, people are living longer and they are living better, but we haven't gotten to zero. Isn't that the campaign? Campaign Zero, that's our national campaign, is getting it to zero. But we can't get it to zero if we've turned it into a business like diabetes, like any other chronic disease. It's not just any other chronic disease. Yes, we have medications, and yes, people are living longer, and yes, more and more people are talking out, but then also there's become a complacent silence that we're kind of existing and living with. And someone shared on Facebook the other day a Facebook Live video that I ended up sharing on my Facebook page of a teenager who was living with HIV, and she started showing her medicines and saying, yes, I go to the club, and yes, I turn up, and yes, I enjoy myself, but I have to take these pills, and I'm going to have to take these pills for the rest of my life, and if I miss my pills, then these pills won't work, and they may not work in another cocktail, and so, it's something that still does dictate a large part of your life, even though you learn how to live with it. And so our goal is to prevent more and more people from coming infected. We can't just learn how to serve people who are living with it. That is great and that is honorable. But can we recommit to getting HIV infections to zero? And I really ask that honestly because if we do that, that might cause some of us to lose our jobs. That might cause some funding to shift. But that's okay because as we've taught them how to live with it, we've taught them how to get jobs. We've worked on housing. So we could shift from it being our primary focus to our secondary focus. Like we tell our clients all the time, don't make AIDS the primary focus of your life. Well, it doesn't have to be the primary focus of our job, but we can still serve people living with HIV if we can get it to zero. And so I just really challenge you to recommit. We have to make noise. We can no longer be polite. We have to make sure that AIDS education is back in the schools, that it's back in the churches, that we're partnering with the beauty parlors and the barber salons and the community organizations, and we're speaking about it. We can, let the new business not just be treatment, but real intentional, strategic, and forward-thinking prevention efforts. It's critical. That's new levels of funding. But that's also people's lives saved. And I think our community deserves that. Our young people deserve it. My daughter is gonna be 25. And so, clearly, I'm looking at her life and wanna make sure that she still understands that this is a major issue. She grew up running around with condoms at 3 years old because she was doing condom demonstrations at 5, and her kindergarten teacher kind of questioned me when she found some condoms in her book bag, but she had like these Afrocentric book bags that I would use on weekends when I ran around and did presentations, and I thought I cleaned it out until 2 condoms fell out of her bag in kindergarten. Her teacher was like, But I didn't apologize for it. I used it as a teaching moment. I used it as an opportunity to educate people. So let's not be silent. Let's be active. Let's lift our voices around HIV and AIDS. Let's not allow this discussion to be lost, in the midst of gay rights, Black Lives Matter, Roe v. Wade, Trump. It's still a part of Black Lives Matter. It's still a part of Roe v. Wade. It's still a part of Trump. It is a very legitimate and a very relevant conversation that we still must actively have and not be apologetic about.